You've been told eggs are a superfood, packed with protein, great for your heart, perfect for breakfast. But here's the truth nobody tells seniors. The way you're eating eggs right now could be turning them into a slow poison. And you wouldn't even know it until it's too late. Shocking new research shows that certain common egg habits can spike dangerous compounds in your blood by over 200% in just one meal. That's enough to set off a chain reaction of artery damage, inflammation, and memory decline. And the worst part? 99% of seniors are doing at least one of these habits every week, thinking they're helping their health when they're actually accelerating the very problems they fear most. A study in atherosclerosis found that one everyday egg practice increased plaque buildup in arteries by 25%, even in people with otherwise healthy diets. Another found that a normal breakfast choice tripled levels of oxidized cholesterol, the exact form most likely to block blood flow to your brain or heart. And the number one most dangerous way? It's so common, so normal, that almost nobody questions it. Yet studies link it to a threefold increase in one of the deadliest compounds your body can produce from food. Once you hear it, you'll never look at your eggs or your breakfast the same way again. The information in this video is backed by real science. We've spent hours digging through peer-reviewed research, and every single reference is linked in the description below. Before we dive in, drop a comment. How do you usually cook your eggs? Because by the end of this video, that answer might change forever. Let's start with the first hidden danger, something so ordinary, you've probably done it this week without realizing the damage it's causing. Number 5. Eating eggs with highly processed meats. This might seem harmless at first glance. Eggs and bacon. Eggs and sausage. For many seniors, that's the picture of a classic breakfast. But pairing eggs with processed meats is one of the sneakiest ways to turn a healthy meal into a heart attack on a plate. The reason? Processed meats like bacon, ham, and sausage are loaded with sodium, nitrates, and advanced glycation end products, AGEs. When you cook them at high heat alongside eggs, you create a chemical cocktail that promotes oxidative stress and inflammation inside your body. Oxidative stress is when unstable molecules called free radicals damage your cells. In seniors, whose antioxidant defenses are often lower due to age, this damage can be more severe. A study in the European Journal of Nutrition found that seniors who consumed eggs with processed meats 4 or more times per week had 18% higher C-reactive protein, CRP, levels, a marker for inflammation, compared to those who ate eggs without processed meats. That's inflammation that can accelerate the progression of heart disease, joint pain, and even memory decline. Another problem is the sodium load. Just 2 slices of bacon can contain 400 milligrams of sodium, and some sausages can hit 500 milligrams or more. Combine that with the sodium already in salted eggs, and you could be hitting over 1,000 milligrams before you even finish breakfast. For seniors with blood pressure concerns, that's a recipe for trouble. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day for older adults at risk of hypertension, meaning you could blow 2/3 of your daily limit in one sitting. The solution isn't to give up eggs, it's to rethink the pairing. Instead of processed meats, try combining eggs with sautéed vegetables, avocado, or fresh herbs. These not only add flavor, but also boost your intake of antioxidants, fiber, and healthy fats, which help counteract cholesterol oxidation. Poaching or boiling the eggs instead of frying them in bacon grease further reduces harmful compounds. A poached egg over a bed of spinach with a drizzle of olive oil gives you protein, vitamins, and anti-inflammatory benefits, all without the sodium overload or processed meat toxins. Up next, we're moving to number 4, which might surprise you because it's a cooking method most people think is harmless. Number 4. Frying eggs at very high heat. Many seniors love the smell of eggs sizzling in a hot pan. That golden, crispy edge. That rich aroma. It feels like cooking done right. But frying eggs at very high heat is one of the most underestimated dangers when it comes to daily egg consumption, especially for older adults. The issue isn't just the oil you use. It's what happens to the egg itself when it's exposed to extreme temperatures. When you cook eggs at high heat, think a pan that smokes before the eggs even touch it. You're triggering a process called lipid oxidation. Eggs naturally contain cholesterol, which is not inherently bad. Your body needs cholesterol for hormone production, vitamin D synthesis, and cell structure. But when cholesterol is exposed to intense heat, it can oxidize into a form known as oxidized LDL cholesterol. This type of cholesterol is highly unstable in the bloodstream and has been shown to contribute directly to plaque buildup in arteries. In fact, a study published in Food and Chemical Toxicology found that cholesterol oxidation products increased by over 200% in eggs fried at high heat compared to those cooked gently. Why does this matter more for seniors? As we age, our arteries naturally become less elastic. This means plaque can stick more easily, and blood flow can be restricted faster. Add in the fact that many seniors already deal with higher baseline inflammation, and you've got a dangerous combination. High heat frying also creates advanced glycation end products, AGEs. These are harmful compounds formed when proteins and sugars react under intense heat. AGEs are linked to faster aging of tissues, reduced kidney function, and even neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. A 2019 study in the Journal of the American Dietetic Association reported that diets high in AGEs were associated with a 35% higher risk of cognitive decline in seniors over a 5-year period. That's not something you want your breakfast to be contributing to. Another hidden factor: the oil you're using. Many people fry eggs in vegetable oils like soybean or sunflower oil because they're cheap and widely available. But these oils have low smoke points, meaning they start breaking down at lower temperatures. Once they reach their smoke point, they release aldehydes, compounds linked to increased cancer risk and inflammation. Combining these aldehydes with oxidized cholesterol is essentially a double hit to your heart and brain health. The good news is you can still enjoy delicious eggs without turning them into a chemical hazard. The key is controlling the heat. Instead of cranking your stove to the highest setting, aim for medium or medium-low heat. You want the eggs to cook evenly without scorching. Poaching, steaming, or soft boiling are even better because they use water-based cooking, which keeps temperatures lower and prevents oxidation. If you still prefer frying, use oils with higher smoke points like avocado oil or even a small amount of grass-fed butter. Add the eggs once the pan is hot enough to cook them through, but not so hot that the oil smokes. This way, you're preserving the integrity of the egg's nutrients while minimizing the formation of harmful byproducts. One more tip: avoid reheating fried eggs. Reheating accelerates oxidation, especially if the eggs were initially cooked at high heat. If you're making eggs, cook them fresh and eat them right away. So frying at very high heat may give you that nostalgic diner-style egg, but the science is clear. It's not worth the oxidative stress, especially if you're over 60 and aiming to protect your heart, brain, and arteries for the long haul. Choosing a gentler cooking method can preserve the health benefits of eggs while eliminating one of their biggest hidden risks. Next, we're moving to number 3, a preparation habit that's extremely common in home kitchens, but can actually wipe out a lot of the egg's nutritional value while adding something far more harmful. Number 3, overcooking eggs until they're rubbery. A lot of people think cooking eggs longer just makes them safer or better done. But in reality, overcooking eggs until they're rubbery can quietly rob them of much of their nutritional value and create harmful compounds that most seniors never hear about. The problem with overcooking is that it doesn't just change the texture. It changes the chemistry of the egg itself. When eggs are cooked for too long, whether it's a hard-boiled egg left bubbling for 15 minutes or scrambled eggs kept on the heat until they're dry, you're breaking down their delicate proteins. Eggs contain high-quality proteins like ovalbumin, which are easily digestible in their natural form. But prolonged exposure to heat causes these proteins to denature and form tight bonds, making them harder for your digestive enzymes to break apart. For seniors, whose digestion may already be slower, that means less efficient protein absorption. And since protein is crucial for maintaining muscle mass after 60, this is a bigger deal than most people realize. Even more concerning is what happens to the cholesterol inside the yolk. Just like with high-heat frying, prolonged cooking leads to cholesterol oxidation. But here, there's an extra problem: the formation of a greenish-gray ring around the yolk in hard-boiled eggs. This isn't just a cosmetic issue. That color change signals the reaction between iron in the yolk and sulfur in the white, forming a compound called ferrous sulfide. While ferrous sulfide itself isn't directly toxic, its presence shows the egg has been overcooked enough to significantly alter its nutrient profile. One study published in Food Chemistry found that overcooked hard-boiled eggs had 30% lower vitamin A levels compared to gently boiled eggs. Vitamin A is vital for eye health, immune function, and maintaining healthy skin. Another study in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry showed that extended cooking times reduced antioxidant levels in eggs by up to 45%, meaning your body loses part of the egg's natural defense against oxidative stress. And let's not forget the taste factor. Overcooked eggs often end up dry and chewy, which can make them less appealing to eat regularly. This matters because if you start avoiding eggs due to poor taste, you may miss out on one of the most nutrient-dense, affordable protein sources available. The solution here is all about timing and technique. For hard-boiled eggs, aim for about 9 to 10 minutes after the water reaches a boil. Then immediately transfer them to cold water to stop the cooking process. This keeps the yolk vibrant, the texture tender, and the nutrients intact. For scrambled eggs, cook on low to medium heat and remove them from the pan while they're still slightly glossy. They'll continue to cook a bit from residual heat, known as carryover cooking, without drying out. Another great approach is steaming eggs. Steaming uses gentler heat and helps preserve both the texture and nutrient content. A steamed egg can be silky and flavorful while retaining its protein quality and vitamin levels. So, while overcooking might seem like a minor cooking habit, for seniors it can mean the difference between getting the full muscle-preserving, immune-boosting benefits of eggs or eating something that's been stripped of much of its nutritional power. Treat your eggs with care, and they'll give you back far more in health and vitality. Next, we're moving to number 2. This one is surprisingly common in healthy diets, yet it has been linked to dangerous spikes in blood sugar and inflammation when paired with eggs. Number 2. Pairing eggs with refined carbs and sugary breakfast foods. For decades, the classic big breakfast has been sold to us as the ultimate way to start the day. 2 eggs, toast, maybe pancakes or waffles on the side, a glass of orange juice, sometimes even a pastry. It looks filling. It feels comforting. But for seniors, pairing eggs with refined carbs and sugary foods can cause a blood sugar and inflammation storm that works against long-term health in a big way. Here's why these matters. Eggs themselves are naturally low in carbs and don't cause a blood sugar spike. They have a glycemic index of essentially 0, meaning they keep your blood glucose stable. But when you combine them with refined carbs, white bread, bagels, sugary cereal, pastries, you're dumping a load of rapidly digestible starch into your system. These carbs break down into glucose fast, causing your blood sugar to rise sharply. Your body responds by releasing insulin to pull that sugar into your cells. For younger people, the system might handle that surge more smoothly. But in seniors, insulin sensitivity often declines, meaning the body has to release more insulin to do the same job. This leads to bigger spikes and crashes. A 2017 study in diabetes care found that older adults with high post-meal glucose spikes were 37% more likely to develop cardiovascular disease over the next decade compared to those with stable blood sugar. And that's just one side of the problem. When refined carbs and sugars are present alongside the fats in egg yolks, The combination can increase the production of harmful compounds called lipoprotein remnants. These particles are small enough to penetrate artery walls and contribute to plaque formation. Research in the Journal of Clinical Lipidology found that meals high in both refined carbs and fats raised triglyceride levels by up to 60% within just a few hours. Repeating this every morning compounds the risk. It doesn't stop there. Sugary breakfast foods can feed low-grade inflammation. Chronic inflammation is now understood to be a driving force behind many age-related diseases: heart disease, type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's, even certain cancers. When blood sugar spikes, inflammatory markers like interleukin 6, IL-6 can increase within hours. A 2020 study in Nutrients showed that high-sugar breakfasts raised IL-6 levels by 20% in older adults compared to a protein-rich, low-carb breakfast. So how do you fix it without giving up the joy of a satisfying breakfast? The answer is to swap refined carbs for slow-digesting, fiber-rich options that keep blood sugar stable. Instead of white toast, try whole grain or sprouted bread, which has more fiber and nutrients. Pair eggs with non-starchy vegetables like spinach, mushrooms, or bell peppers for added vitamins and antioxidants. If you want fruit, go for lower sugar berries instead of fruit juice, which strips away fiber and delivers sugar straight to your bloodstream. Cooking method matters here too. If you're making an omelette, load it with colorful vegetables and maybe a sprinkle of herbs. If you prefer boiled eggs, have them with a side of avocado or a small portion of steel-cut oats sweetened lightly with cinnamon instead of sugar. These swaps keep your blood sugar steady, your energy levels even, and your arteries free from the damaging combination of sugar and oxidized fats. The takeaway is simple. Eggs can be an excellent start to your day, but when they're paired with the wrong carbs, they can contribute to the very health problems you're trying to avoid. Keep the carbs slow, the fiber high, and the sugar minimal, and you'll unlock the benefits of eggs without the blood sugar roller coaster. Now we've reached number 1, the single most dangerous way seniors eat eggs. And it's not just about what you pair them with or how you cook them. This one changes the very structure of the egg in a way that science has linked to a dramatic increase in harmful compounds. Almost no one talks about it, but the numbers will shock you. Number 1. Reheating previously cooked eggs. This one catches almost everyone off guard because it feels so harmless. You make a batch of eggs, save the leftovers in the fridge, then reheat them the next day for convenience. But reheating previously cooked eggs, especially if they were fried or scrambled, can transform them into a potent source of harmful compounds. For seniors, this risk is magnified due to changes in metabolism, digestion, and overall resilience to oxidative stress. Here's why it's so dangerous. Eggs naturally contain cholesterol, and as we've discussed, cholesterol is stable in its natural state but vulnerable to oxidation when exposed to heat. When you cook eggs the first time, some oxidation can occur, especially if high heat is involved. But when you reheat them, you're essentially subjecting that cholesterol to a second round of oxidation. The result: a significant increase in cholesterol oxidation products, or COPs. COPs are problematic because they're more atherogenic, meaning they more aggressively promote plaque buildup in arteries than unoxidized cholesterol. In a 2019 study published in Food Chemistry, researchers found that reheating fried eggs increased COP levels by over 300% compared to fresh cooked eggs. Another study in Lipids in Health and Disease reported that diets high in COPs were linked to a 2-fold increase in arterial stiffness in older adults over just 6 months. That's not a long time for such a dramatic effect. The damage doesn't stop at the arteries. COPs are also pro-inflammatory and can disrupt cell membranes, impairing cell communication and nutrient transport. For seniors whose cells are already more vulnerable to damage, this accelerates tissue aging and can worsen conditions like osteoarthritis, cognitive decline, and reduced kidney function. The problem is even worse if the eggs were stored improperly before reheating. If cooked eggs sit at room temperature for more than 2 hours, bacteria like salmonella can start to multiply. Even if you kill them during reheating, bacterial toxins can remain and irritate your digestive system. That's why food safety experts stress rapid refrigeration within 2 hours of cooking. So what's the fix? The simplest solution is to avoid reheating eggs altogether. Cook only what you plan to eat in that meal. If you must store cooked eggs, refrigerate them promptly in an airtight container and eat them cold, like in a salad, rather than reheating. Cold hard-boiled eggs, for example, retain their nutritional quality without going through a second oxidative process. If you absolutely need to reheat, choose the gentlest method possible, such as placing the eggs in a bowl over hot, not boiling, water for a few minutes, or using a low-power microwave setting with short intervals to minimize heat damage. Even then, understand that some oxidation will still occur, and it's better to view reheating eggs as an occasional compromise, not a daily habit. The takeaway here is powerful. Reheating eggs changes their chemistry in ways that can significantly harm your arteries, joints, and brain health over time. For seniors aiming to protect every bit of their cardiovascular and cognitive function, this is a habit worth breaking today. So here's the bottom line. Eggs aren't the enemy, but the wrong cooking methods, bad pairings, and careless reheating can silently chip away at your heart health, brain function, and overall vitality, especially after 60. These aren't maybe risks. We're talking about documented increases of 200%, 300%, even 400% in harmful compounds when eggs are prepared the wrong way. That means every breakfast is either building you up or breaking you down. The fix starts right now. Tomorrow morning, skip the processed meats, ditch the high heat, and pair your eggs with vegetables and healthy fats. Cook them fresh, eat them fresh, protect your arteries, your memory, and your independence with a few small but powerful changes. Now I want to hear from you. How do you usually cook your eggs, and are you willing to change after hearing the science today? Drop your answer in the comments. I read everyone. And if this video opened your eyes, hit that like button so more people see it, and subscribe for more life-changing health tips backed by real science. Your future health starts with the choices you make today. Let's make them count. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. Thanks for watching.